we held them to a field goal early, started moving the ball, didn't get it, and then, just hung the defense out, just didn't give them an opportunity, and they weren't coming up defensively. We weren't coming up with stops. Couldn't run the ball offensively, getting anything substantial. And then, and then the turnover, and then things kind of snowball.
Jim?
And Mike, you kind of led into it there, but how much after this game, do you end up kicking yourselves for the mistakes you made, especially turning the ball over?
Sure. I mean, it wasn't, it's everything. It's the 15-yard penalties, very uncharacteristic. That's just didn't play well enough early on to give ourselves any kind of chance. Certainly never going to be a moral victory. But, I think our charge is going to be finding a way to recreate what we did in the second half, as we move forward.
Terry?
Mike, on the 3rd and 1 play where you threw to Aaron Brewer and the ball was dropped there, looking back, do you feel like maybe you were a little too tricky there? You should have just gone straight ahead and went and tried to get the 1 yard more conventionally?
No, we tried that on 4th down, and that didn't work. So, Terry, those are decisions that we make, and you get a call in there, you rep something all week, and, was there, they made a play. The guy hit the ball out of Brew's hands, and, we felt great about the call. We did. We wouldn't have called it if we didn't feel good about it. It didn't work out. And then we weren't able to pick it up, on 4th down.
TD?
Yeah, Coach, the situation with 3rd down is continuing to rear its ugly head. I think there were 10 out of 16 today. I know you say that you have to coach better, but what really can be done?
You got to coach better, you have to rush better, and you have to cover better, TD. You are smart, and you study, and you like watching, defense, and that's what 3rd down is. It's, finding ways to rush and cover. That's what it comes down to. And we have to look at who we have, and we got to try to put them in the best positions to do that. Whether that's playing man or zone or simulating, pressuring, all those different things that go into it. And, that's the challenge. And that's going to stay the same each and every week.
Got it.
Joe Rexroad?
Mike, with Clowney done, how disappointing is it, I guess, to get as little as you got out of him this season? And do you feel like you have enough on this roster to rush the passer moving forward without having to, to blitz and do special things?
Joe, that's going back a long time, man. I think maybe we could reflect on that and the players that are injured after the season. But I literally come in every single day and try to find out who we have available, who's here, who's on the active roster, who's on the practice squad, and then coach them and make a game plan. So he hasn't been out there for a few weeks. So I've really, that's just kind of how it goes when guys are hurt or they go on injured reserve. You're moving past that.
Just to clarify, Mike, can you confirm he's done for the season?
Well, he's on injured reserve. I mean, we could bring him back. I just don't know, where his health is right now in the short term. So I couldn't honestly answer that just from the standpoint that, until he's, seeing our doctors and they give us, an idea. But I'm not standing here today expecting to have, JD back.
David?
Mike, what, if anything, does it mean that the final score looked a hell of a lot more respectable than the halftime score did?
I mean, I do think that we're going to fight, and I do think that we're going to compete. There are no moral victories. The charge is just to try to recreate leaving the locker room and how we played in the second half, as opposed to, how we approached and played the start of that game.
John Glennon?
Yeah, Mike, I wonder if you were starting to think there at some point that deficit, there's a chance at making up that deficit, and I guess how big was the interception, the one that bounced off at him there.
Yeah, that one was going to make it hard. You know, we got the challenge. You know, Bat had a nice catch there on the sidelines. And you just start running out of time. And I think that everybody, you know, as we got stops on defense and we were able to move the ball and score. Unfortunately, that one there, the interception kind of, you know, put a halt to the momentum that we had building there in the second half, and really just cost us, you know, just the time and not being able to score. Everything's got to be perfect. Everything would have had to been right, and it rarely ever is in football and in life.
Paul,
Doesn't that lessen the meaning of the second half, Mike? The fact that everything has to be perfect, and the Browns know that if they just roll out there and get a couple first downs and don't make giant mistakes, that they're going to be just fine.
In the second half, Paul, I didn't understand. I don't know if I understood
I
your
mean, you're
question.
saying you just want to carry over what happened in the second half. Well, they weren't particularly concerned with what you were doing in the second half because the first half put the game pretty much out of reach.
Yeah, I don't know really how you want me to answer that, Paul. I'm just trying to say that I felt like you have two choices. And having been in the National Football League, playing and coaching, I've seen teams fight. I've seen coaches fight players. I've seen players fight players. I've seen offensive players fight defensive players. And guys really just pack up and go home and bitch and complain and look to point fingers. And my point is I never saw that. We lost. We didn't coach well enough. We didn't play well enough. But when I evaluate what we were able to do in the second half and playing complementary and feeding off each other, I guess that's all I was trying to allude to.
Luke,
Mike, this performance is obviously coming on the heels of two straight wins against good teams. Do you like what you see from the locker room in terms of handling success and responding to wins and continuing to prepare and improve?
Not today for the first half, Luke. It's not about the locker room. It's about how you play on Sunday. Felt like we prepared well. You know, you have to each and every week, you have to be able to be ready to go and prepare for a new opponent and the challenges behind that. And if you don't play well, we know you're going to lose.
Corey, Kyle,
Yeah, Mike, 12 games into this thing with Beasley and Clowney gone now and Adore's sort of seemingly stuck in neutral. These aren't the pieces you thought you'd have. How much can you improve a defense this deep into the year with the parts available?
I don't spend time thinking about people that aren't there or not available. I tried to allude to that earlier just to say that after this, I'll talk to Todd and John, and we'll see who may be available for the game. That'll change based on the week of treatment and how they feel. We evaluate who's available. We make decisions to bring guys up or to not bring guys up. And that's all I can tell you, man. I just look at who we have and what we're trying to do with those pieces and try to get a game plan together and help the team prepare for each opponent.
Corey,
Sorry, Coach. They were a low-volume pass team headed into this season. How surprising was it that they came out so aggressively throwing the ball?
I mean, I guess that was the plan that they had, and that's how they wanted to try to approach it. You know, and you know, that was what they decided to do, and we weren't able to respond or affect the quarterback, you know, which is one of the keys. Tipping balls and being able to break up passes or cover guys and keep our eyes on our man and all those types of things.
last one, Drake.
When AJ had that second fumble, obviously after the first one ending the first half, I mean, what do you tell a guy like that who obviously had a lot of expectations on him, someone who you're able to depend on in the passing game? And we saw that last week against Indy. What do you tell a guy like that who's still learning and still trying to make sure that he, from game to game, is at his top best?
Yeah, we all have high expectations, for everybody. And, we got to take care of the football, and we have to understand, when we're vulnerable at the sidelines and, going to the ground. I thought it was a good play, one that will show our defense is, he was going down and kind of using AJ's momentum against him. I told him if he feels like that, we have to try to roll back into him so that he's not using our momentum going to the ground to rake it out of there. Proud of, Pruitt's effort to go down there on the second one to be able to score.
All right, that's everything. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.